All right, so happy Friday. For those of you that were with us in the last one, the last Famous Founders cohort, we were doing Mondays. And we got a lot of feedback from a lot of you in the room actually that Mondays are kind of harder to do. And Friday seems to be the branding day. So we figured why not do it on Fridays? And there was also, by the way, a lot of confusion around the town halls, which have been every Friday. So those happen at noon on Fridays PST, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we decided to do the Famous Founder cohort right before the town hall, so we can just roll right into that for anyone who wants to join us at that one. The town hall is specifically for our weekly feature rollouts and updates. And then these, of course, are the cohort trainings where we go over if you've heard me talk about the visibility or branding flywheel, and how to get you featured, how to get you visible. Like that's what this is. So for everyone here, I'm glad you found the right room. I know I was talking to some of you this morning, Will included, where many of you thought
Gave
that
you
the
a heart
town
attack.
hall, what was that?
I said I gave you a heart attack.
It was a good heart attack because I
Yeah.
actually got a lot of messages with confusion around what was at 12 noon PST and what's going on right now. So I'm glad you guys are here. Hopefully nobody is going to turn up at noon and be like, I thought I was here for day one. But you guys are in the right place at the right time. So awesome. That is going to be a different link, by the way. So if anyone wants the town hall link at the end of this, let us know. We'll have Maha just put the link in the chat for you, and then you can join us there. But that is a different link than this one. All right. Okay. So I figured the best place to kick off our 7 weeks or day one, for those of you that are just here for day one, is with a slide that you have probably seen. If I can find the right button to share, to click on, I mean, here, hold on. It's a slide you've probably seen, but I think it's the perfect place to start. Let me just make sure I can still see you all. Perfect. Okay. You guys, anyone not seen this slide before? I think you've all seen it at this point, right? But I think it's a really good way to kick things off because we have our 7-hour intensives, and there have been a lot of questions around whether that's a better fit for some of us or this program. So branding, and whether this is business branding or personal branding, and we're going to be talking about personal branding today, but branding in general is a combination of like one-time asset building, right? And then an ongoing effort where it compounds, and once you start getting your initial few results, that starts to make the flywheel go faster. More opportunities start coming in, and it is a floodgate. I promise you. I've been there. I struggled to get out there and put myself out there initially when I had no personal brand. But once you start to get featured, you automatically have people in your DMs. Automatically have people reaching out to you to work with them, be featured on their podcast, get on their stages, all of that stuff, right? So what we're going to be covering today and over the next 7 weeks is the flywheel part of these things. Okay. And what we focus on in the 7-hour intensive day, we had our first one last month. We're going to have the next one on February 26th. So if anyone's interested in that, just shoot us an email or a message after this, and we can share more details about that. But that is all about spending a 7-hour workday. It is intense, but we spend a 7-hour workday just going over all the assets, not just going over them, but we actually build them with you. So by the end of the 7 hours, you walk away with all of your branding assets built out and ready to go and ready to get you out there and featured. Okay. And then these 7 weeks, we work on your flywheel, which is getting you featured. And we start with podcasts. Okay. And the nice thing is that with personal brand assets, we use vibe coding, right? We vibe code all of your assets into place. And with the flywheel, we use deep research agents. That's just how we do both parts of the branding stuff, right? So again, these 7 weeks are going to be super focused, hyper focused on your deep research agents, all the data they're giving you, the intel they're giving you in your market, and how you can use that intel to get featured and get more visible, get your message out there, and reach more of your ideal audience. Okay. I also shared some of these slides last week in Cancun, but again, I figured it was a really good reminder of what you're going to be able to do today and why today these next 90 minutes are going to be super powerful for you, because starting with podcasts are the best way to start getting visible, to start getting out there, to start getting featured. Okay. And once you start getting those podcast features, that's what leads you to bigger opportunities, better opportunities, bigger podcasts, bigger stages, all of that stuff. But it all starts from here. Okay. So Coach Kevin, I don't see him in the room. I think he said he was going to join us. He was with us at our first cohort. So that's the other thing, by the way, for those of you that are continuing on with us in this cohort, you get a whole year of access to all the cohorts that we do. So every time we run these 7-week programs, you can come. You'll always find new stuff. You'll always learn something new, and you'll always find a way to get your flywheel to move faster. Okay. And you have unlimited access to any of the one-day intensives that we do throughout the year. Not just any, but all of them. You can come to multiple. But Coach Kevin, he hadn't posted on his socials for years when he joined the first cohort, and he started pitching. He got his first no, and that fired him up, which was awesome, right? Because a lot of us know with the rejections, sometimes we can take it very personally, and now we want to like take a step back and not put ourselves out there. But it's really, really important to keep going. Okay. Literally a few days after that, he was like, I'm booked. And then he booked a second one. And then, of course, he went on vacation. And I was like, hey, where did you go? What happened? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm just booked on all sorts of things now. And he sent me this new podcast and all these this list of stuff that he's booked on. So amazing. Okay. And that's why we start with podcasts. We had Anita. I don't know if you're in the room. But she landed her first podcast during the last cohort. And then we have Nathan and Mark and Carrie, and then Nathan again with his second one. And so once you start getting those podcast invites, they will not all be the right fit for you, but at least you'll start getting those invites, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to actually do. Okay. Carrie, she got her first booking. Then she got her second booking. Then she started applying to stages using her podcast bookings as leverage. And she landed the summit speaking gig that she pitched for as well. So again, compounding effect. And that's why I'm super excited for you guys to be here, because it doesn't matter whether your goal is just to do more podcasts, just to do more content, just to be on stages, doesn't really matter. But the easiest way to get all of that going, people think it's content. You'll hear a lot of branding experts out there saying you got to post more, post consistently. And this is actually the secret to getting visible. It's actually podcasts. Those podcasts also become content that you can start posting, right? So lots of gold in these. So with that, the flywheel is what we're going to kick off today. We're going to start that with podcasts. And then of course, later in the program, we're also going to talk about how to apply the same strategies to event hosts, for networking, for third-party publications, how to start getting published, self-published initially, but then how you can use that as traction to start getting published on third-party blog sites and magazines as well. Okay. And I wanted to say that with the flywheel, I was chatting with Kiri and Nathan yesterday, and something that Kiri said actually didn't register until I woke up this morning, and that happens to me a lot, by the way. But she said Fridays are my Brandpod day. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, one day a week. Like, I wonder what we can do to, obviously me as the software brain going, how can we make our product more sticky? But I realized this morning that one day a week is actually all you need. And that's why it's so stress-free. When you have a system and you get your flywheel starting to move and you know what you're doing with it, you're not just spraying and praying with content. You can actually have just one day dedicated to your personal brand, or half a day even. And the rest of it, you just do what you do. Do whatever you're good at. Do whatever you want to do, right? It doesn't have to consume your whole life. I hear way too many people saying like, drop everything you're doing and every day just post some content and post multiple times a day. And it doesn't have to be that hard. Okay, so with that, let's jump in. Do all of you have your Brandpod accounts opened up, logged in, ready to go? Yeah? Okay, I see some thumbs ups. Dan's like, maybe.
We're rock and roll.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few seconds. Let me actually stop sharing here while I get out of my slide mode here and open up my own. Where did my account go? Here we go. Sorry, logged into the wrong account. Okay. There we go. Okay, let me know when you guys have your accounts open. Sounds like everyone does. Okay, Dan's got a thumbs up now too. Awesome. Lots of thumbs ups. Okay, awesome. Cool. Okay, so everyone knows what all of this is. I feel like you guys have either come from the intensive or the last cohort or Cancun last week. So we've all seen the dashboard. I'm not going to spend any time on like all the things in here. But what we are going to do is dive right into podcast. So you want to go ahead and click here and then make sure you're in the podcast tab here. Now, before we do a single other thing, I did lie to all of you who are coming in from the Cancun week last week. You remember how I told you guys we were going to send out your first podcast pitch today? Yes, that's why you're here, to send out your first podcast pitch. I lied because it's going to be 5 podcast pitches. We don't do things in ones here. So if that makes you uncomfortable, just know that that's what you're going to be doing. 90 minutes of discomfort, you're going to get it done. And I promise you it will start to pay off. Okay? So the goal today is we're going to send out 5 podcast pitches today, and we are going to set off your bulk content, which means it's going to take a few hours. You're not going to get it done in these 90 minutes. We're going to do that right at the end of this. And for those of you that are continuing on in this cohort, next week, we're going to dive into that content. For those of you that are just here for day 1, you're going to be able to take that, all of that content that we create at the end of this, this session. And I think it's going to blow your minds. So you're going to have a whole content bank for the next month plus. We did this in a smaller chunk last time for the intensive, and it was supposed to be 30 days of content, and Sonia did 60 days of content. This is going to be like, you're going to have more content than you know what to do with, and you're going to be able to select the ones that you want, post, schedule, whatever you need to do. Okay, and they're all going to be based on your audience's search terms. So we're talking SEO, AEO content. By the way, anyone know what AEO is, really? I feel like there's a lot of miscommunication and misconception around that. For those of you that just raised your hand, how many of you think that AEO stands for AI engine optimization? Okay, good. And even if you did, it's fine. I just want you to know that it's not. So after this, if there's one thing that you take away from it, it's actually, there's one thing that you take away from this, it's have a brand day every week. But the second thing you can take away is that AEO stands for Answer Engine Optimization, and it's actually an evolution of SEO. So AEO isn't just AI and SEO isn't just Google. Answer Engine Optimization is what everything is an answer engine right now, including Google and including all the AI LLMs that we are now asking our questions to, right? So AEO is just an evolution. It includes Google, it includes AIs and LLMs and whatever you're using to get your questions answered. It's all of it under one umbrella. So when we say SEO, AEO, it's actually just, we're just talking about AEO, okay? So because we are creating content based on those search terms, everything that you're creating is already naturally keyword rich. You're already answering questions that your audience is actually asking for. And because this is all brand led, you're answering them in the way that you, as the expert who knows something that other experts in your field don't know, are going to be answering it. So this is not like ChatGPT content, okay? But we're going to get to that at the end. Okay, so here, for those of you that have been with us at the past cohort, you already know that you can go through all the podcasts that the AI has found and start pitching to any of these, okay? What you haven't seen yet, and so there's a lot to go through, and so I want to give you guys at least 5 minutes just to go through everything and pick out, again, we want to pick out 5, okay? You might pick out 5 just from here. It's 5 or more, by the way. If you want to do more, go crazy, absolutely. 5 is going to be the minimum. So go over the list in your account, pick out 5, and let's say you don't love 5 out of the list that it's given you. This is something that none of you guys have seen yet. You can actually search for specific podcasts or specific topics. And it'll do the deep research on those specific podcasts for you. So if there's a specific podcast that you've been hoping to get on and it's not in the list, right, based on AI suggestions, you can actually find those and dive deeper into those and pitch them and do all the research and all of that for those as well. So let's, as an example, let's say I want to look at all the high level related podcasts. Okay. Now it's given me a list of all the high level, this is iTunes, by the way. If a podcast is not on iTunes, it's not going to find it. Okay. So just make sure that if you're looking for a specific podcast, just make sure it's on iTunes. Otherwise it's not going to know what you're talking about. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces. I think we're all from the high level world, right? Anyone here not from the high level world? At least for those of you that have your cameras on, because I can only see you. No, right? I think we're all from the high level world. So you'll actually see a lot of familiar names here, right? Vit Muller is a very popular high level podcast host. And by the way, I met him at Level Up. I mean, I didn't meet, I met him, I've met him before too, but I saw him at Level Up in Dallas in October last year. And I was showing him what I'm about to show you guys. And he was like, this is really interesting because I wake up to so many chat GPT pitches in my inbox every day. And I'm literally like, delete, 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 delete. And I've heard that from a lot of podcast hosts. But remind me at the end of this, once we actually send out these podcasts, I'm going to tell you another really cool story from one of our speakers at Cancun last week, actually. But anyway, so it's going to show me, and again, you might have a different topic, okay? And explore, like go, try different names, try different topics, find the ones that are a really, really good fit for you. You'll see Matt DeSana's here. Although I just looked at Matt's podcast, I was like, I didn't know he had a podcast. It is he hasn't posted since 2024, so that's probably why I didn't know. But it's gonna pull up any podcast on iTunes that have the keyword high level in it. Fun fact that I've already actually been interviewed on both Vit Muller and High Level's own spotlight sessions by Paulson. So I'm gonna see which other ones I don't know. These are interesting. All right. Anyway, that was an idea for you, those of you that want to be on more high level podcasts. I'm actually going to look for personal branding and see if there's anything on that topic. Oh, lots of them. So again, the goal of this exercise is to just pick 5 or more, but at least 5. And we're going to pitch them. Okay. I'm going to show you how this one works. So actually, let me show you how these work. So let's say this is one that I want to be on. Okay. You can expand that. It's already telling me that it's not a perfect fit for me. It's a moderate fit, which is fine. Or I can go with just the perfect fit ones. Use your best judgment. You get to pick. You'll see what the podcast is about. You'll see what topics they cover. I actually think this is a great fit because they talk about personal branding. You'll see a summary. You'll see if they accept guests. This is important. Before we pitch to them, you want to make sure that they actually accept guests. So make sure you look at that before you shortlist. Okay. You're going to see who some of their previous guests were. They may be names that you recognize or not. And you'll see where these guests have been from. If this is a podcast that takes on guests, you'll see which industry that they're from. Okay. This is the website to the podcast. And you'll see some other social channels here as well. If you want to listen to some of these podcasts, obviously we're not going to do that today during these 90 minutes, but if when you're doing this next time, if you want to actually listen to any of them, you can go to all the episodes, or it's going to find also for you the last 5, the most recent 5 episodes. So you can also listen to them.
Make your screen larger.
Is my screen too big, too small?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Is that too big or is that better? Is that good?
That's good.
Yeah? Okay, awesome.
We can also control that ourselves. Like you can pinch out if you're on mobile, you can pinch that out, and you can zoom on desktop, just for anybody who is unaware of that in Zoom. It's a great little function.
Yeah, you can do that on your end, but don't worry about trying to figure that out right now. So
Hey, Ruhina, I had one quick question. I searched for a podcast and clicked dive deeper, but it didn't add it to the list.
okay, so do you guys want to do breakout sessions here, or Kunal, do you want to take a look at that?
No, so just refresh and try again. I just pushed in a fix for that. That's
Oh,
for
we
some
have our
websites that-
CTO pushing in fixes here while we're doing this demo. Sorry.
Okay,
Blame him.
I'll try again.
Yeah, so I'll just refresh your page and then try again. Should
Can you hear
work.
him?
Yeah.
He's on the other side of the room, but yeah, he's saying just refresh your page. Does he need to log out and log back in or no? Okay, all right, just refresh your page and it should work.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Okay, so John jumped ahead, but for those of you that are still following along, you're going to get a chance to do that as well. I just want you to see what kind of intel it pulls from the podcast that it shortlists and what it's going to do for the ones that you shortlist or ask for. Okay, so if I go back to this, let's say, I'm just going to pick one from here. Let's see. So when you click on it, obviously it gives you more information. I've never heard of these guys, to be honest, but I feel like I should be on their podcast because of what they talk about. So let's pick this one. And if you want Brandpod's agents to go and do the deep dive for you and pull out all that deeper intel for you, just click on dive deeper. And now it's going to go ahead and do that for me. So if you're following along, again, you have the option of either picking from the list or looking for specific ones. All right, once it's done, let's see if I need to actually refresh my screen too. No, it added it for me. Okay, so it added this one in for me. It's actually telling me it's a strong fit. So thank you, Brandpod, for confirming what I thought was true. And now it's given me all that deeper intel that I can look through. Cleaning services. I don't know about this one. This is like weird. They probably have it on some episode and I picked it up from there. I'm gonna ignore that one and I'm gonna say social media influencing and they talk about personal branding. So yep, still looks like a good fit for me. They accept guests, which is awesome. Again, don't forget to check if they accept guests. Just because you're pulling one doesn't mean you may assume that somebody actually interviews guests, or maybe they did previously and they no longer are. You just want to make sure that you are actually pitching to people who are looking for guests to interview. All right, it's got the last 5 episodes for me. All right. You don't have to know all 5. I just want you to have one that you are ready to pitch to for now. And then we're going to rinse and repeat 4 more times. Everyone have one podcast that they're excited to pitch to right now? And when I say excited, I just mean ready, even if you're scared, even if you're worried, even if you've never done this before. Yes?
Mine is still researching. I'm doing the deep dive like you did. So,
Okay. Yeah, we'll give you
but
guys
you don't
another.
have to wait for me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how everyone else is doing. Let me actually pull up my chat too. Let me know when. I want to make sure that you're all following along. Donna, did you have a question?
So my question is, none of them say strong fit.
None of yours say strong fit. Okay. I'm trying to think. So this is, okay, so a couple of things with that. And Kunal, actually, you can hop in if you wanted to. So AI will always go and look at the current trending podcasts. Okay.
Yeah.
And Donna, I know what you do. So I know your niche is very, very specific. And so you may not always find podcasts that are a strong fit. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't apply to them. Like this one, I actually know who this is. And I follow her, and her podcast is one that I actually want to get on. Okay. So it says it's a moderate fit, but I already know that she talks like it's even telling me she talks about personal branding, leadership, communication, all the stuff that I talk about. So I already know I'm a good fit. But sometimes AI is looking at different criteria and it might give you something that's not 100% accurate. It's just meant to give you an idea. So if you don't see anything that's a perfect fit, it's not the end of the world. You can, like I said, you can either search for a specific one that you know you're a perfect fit for, or just go with one of these where you can see that the topics are a good fit for you.
Okay.
Right? And use your best judgment.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Dominic, you had a quick question too?
Yeah, how did you get to that deep dive again?
Oh, once you click on one of these, so if you search here, make sure you're searching here under Discover New Podcast, by the way, and not the filters. Okay, so you put in your term here, your search term here. It's going to pull up a list. You can scroll here. Once you click on one of these, it'll give you more information about that podcast, and it's got this dive deeper button here at the bottom right of the card.
Got it. Thanks.
Got it? Okay, yeah, you click on that, it'll do the research for you and add it to your list over here. All right, okay. Let me know if you need me to wait for you guys. Otherwise, let's just keep them moving because I want to make sure that we get through at least a few of these so that if we don't get through all 5, you're confident about what you need to do after the call to get those 5 done. Please get those 5 done today. I promise you it will be worth it. And yeah, just do it. All right. So once you've picked the first one that you want to start with, this doesn't have to be expanded. What you want to do is go to the first email. By the way, just since we're here, and I realized that I didn't walk you through these things before, if any podcasts show up, like Dominic was actually telling me that one of his clients saw that his own podcast showed up. And he was like, I don't want the AI to be telling me about my own podcast. You can always say, I mean, this is not going to rate that bad, by the way. Okay, it's not going to rate the podcast bad. It's just telling Brandpod that I don't want to see this in my list. So don't show me this one again. So it was last, I don't see that on my list anymore, actually, because I put the thumbs down. But there was a podcast that kept looking like a good fit for me because she talks about branding. But when I actually, and so it's really important to read the summary, by the way. When I read the summary, I realized that she only works with African American women, right? So clearly I was not a good fit. And if I reached out to her and if I pitched her, I would look like an idiot. And so you want to do a little bit of research. Like don't just blindly go with this just because AI said so. Okay. It's still AI. So we still want to like use our best judgment. And actually the best way to do that also is just by going to the website. So let's actually do that really quick so that I'm following what I'm preaching, practicing what I'm preaching here. Okay. I'm
May
just
I
going to,
ask you a question?
yeah.
Okay. You said that last time about that that podcast being focused on African American entrepreneurs, but wouldn't they need your services too?
So it's not about my services. I wasn't pitching my services to them. I was pitching to be on their podcast, to be interviewed and put in front of their audience. And if they only accept guests who are
Ah,
African American, I would look like I've clearly not done my homework.
okay.
Or I just identify as, which would be really weird. Anyway, whole lot I can say there, but I'm gonna stop myself. Okay, Sonia's laughing because she knows I can go down a rabbit hole and say some very inappropriate things. Anyway, so point is, just do your homework. Make sure that you're not, pitching to somebody that is clearly gonna be like, dude, you don't even fit the profile that I'm looking for.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right. Okay, so I don't know if you guys just saw what happened, but every once in a while when you click on these links, most times, 9 out of 10 times, they will take you to the right website. Okay. This one just took me to rss.com, it looks like. So, oh, and Kunal, we should probably make this copyable. I can't even copy it right now. It's just taking me to rss.com. Okay, podcast, brand new podcast. Let's see if we can actually find it. Am I getting it? Podcast, brand new podcast. Okay. Oh, one podcast. Okay, let's see if that takes me anywhere. No, it just brings me here. So that link isn't working, but I can also make sure that they're legit by going to their social channels. Oh, they're maybe not legit because none of this stuff actually
Click on
exists.
listen to episode.
Oh, there, they have an Instagram. Okay.
Click on listen to episode. That'll take you to their
Oh,
actual.
okay, so
You
this,
can always go there through there as well.
yeah, that's a good idea. So I don't know if you guys heard what Kunal just told me to do, but if the links don't work, again, 9 out of 10 times they work, but again, this is AI, and so every once in a while the links that it brings back are not legit links. So that's why it's a good idea to just click around and make sure that they're legit before you reach out to them. They have an Instagram, and yeah, if you click on listen to episode for any of the last 5 episodes, it should take you to their to some page that they have. And in this case, it's Spotify. Okay, so yep, I actually like a lot of their topics. Great fit for me. Okay, so hopefully you guys have found something that you're excited about. Yes? You guys are all following along? All right, so before we move on to actually setting out the pitch, I want you to just see these 3 badges. So you can basically let the AI know, let Brandpod know that you've been featured here before. Okay, so don't keep showing it to me, but it's going to add it to your goals and achievements tab. Okay, anything that you put a badge on, it's going to move it under the right category under goals and achievements. And I can actually show you here. So this, I believe this is the one. No, this was a different one. Okay. So you can put in goals if this is something that you know that, Gary V is like huge. I probably need to be around for a lot longer before he'll give me the time of day. So I'm adding him to my goals for now and not pitching him just yet. And anything that is definitely not for me, I'm going to put them under not for me. And if you've already been featured somewhere before, you can put them under I've already been featured here, and it'll move it to my achievements. And by the way, you can also just move them around. Okay, so you can move these around. I've definitely not been featured on Gary Vee, so let me put that back in its right place. But yeah, so you can keep track of things that way as well. Okay. Dominic, did you have a question?
Yeah, if you've put something into my goals and you want to take it back out, and how do you do that without deleting it?
Oh, deleting means it'll just take it out of your goals. But where did you want to put it?
Well, I noticed that when you do put it in the goals, what it does is it takes, when you're in the podcast, and it grays out those action buttons on the right. So my question is, if it's in the goals and then you want to pitch to that, do you have to take it out of the goals to pitch, or do you pitch from within the goals?
Oh, that's actually a good point, Kunal. I think we should, yeah, no, that's a good catch, Dominic. I think this was meant to be expandable and bring in all the information here. So we'll fix that. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, so if it's in goals and we do want to pitch to it, we need to delete it out of the goals and it'll go back to how it was before.
Right now, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's a
Thank
really
you.
good catch. Maha, if you can pass that on to Bruno, please. Okay, all right. Let's send out this pitch, okay? We're already 30 minutes in, 35 minutes in, so let's do this. When you hover on the email icon, it's gonna give you this opportunity to add it to an account and track it. You can also skip this, but I recommend not doing that, and I'm gonna tell you why after we send out, after we do this. So if I click on this, it's going to ask me if I want to add this as an opportunity. Everyone here, we're all from the high level world. We all understand pipelines and tracking through different stages. It's the same when you're putting yourself out there and pitching to publication editors, podcast hosts, and event hosts. Same thing. You want to pitch, you may need to follow up. The follow-ups are what we're going to be doing later in the program. In fact, week 3, we start following up with anyone who hasn't responded to us yet. Okay, today we're just sending out our first batch of pitches. But that's exactly how you're going to track all of these, so you know whether you've sent them one follow-up or no follow-ups, or are they a lost opportunity, or are you booking with them? All of that stuff you'll be able to track. Okay, usually all of this is pretty spot on. If you need to change any of these fields, you can do that, but usually it's all pretty spot on. So I'm just going to go ahead and say save, and now it's in my opportunity. I can either navigate to where it says personal CRM in my menu, or I can it's just taking me through the steps. So I'm going to go ahead and write my pitch. Now, if you guys have different brand voices, you can pick something from here. Otherwise, the default one is going to be either what automatically got created when you uploaded your answers to the survey when you were setting up your account, or it's going to be something that you went in and selected as your default. Okay, in this case, it's something that I created and selected as my default. It's going to use that to write your pitch for you. Yeah, Dominic.
Yeah, I guess I'm the squeaky wheel as usual. When I go to click on the email icon, I'm not seeing a way to add it. The pop-up that you showed is not appearing to add it to, I guess.
So what are you seeing when you click on the email icon?
It takes me directly into the email subject with the email content, as if it was already written.
Did you already put it into an opportunity before?
How would we know that? How would we know what?
So this is still writing it for me, so I can't navigate there on my screen. But if you go into personal CRM in your menu on the left,
okay,
just click on that and click on opportunities.
Yep.
You should see the whole pipeline, and you'll see if it's already added to one of the stages there.
Click on research pods. Is that it?
No, click on my personal CRM.
Hang on a second here. Yeah, okay, and then go to opportunities, got it. Oh, yes, it's already been put there, that's what happened.
Yeah. So
Okay,
if you've already added it to an opportunity and you click on it again, it will just open it up in the opportunity for you. It's not going to take you through those steps.
okay, got it, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. One thing that I also forgot to mention, another reason why you want to use those badges, by the way, is every time your agents run, there's a good possibility that some of those podcasts are going to get overwritten, okay, with whatever latest data the AI, the agents find. So podcasts don't really change every week or very often. So you will also see some of the same podcasts being repeated. But if there's one that you definitely want to work with or pitch to, you don't want the agents to overwrite it, just make sure that you put a badge on it so it gets saved in that in your goals and achievements. Okay. All right. So once you've got your pitch written, go ahead and read it, make any edits that you need to. But usually what it's going to do, and this is how the agents have been designed, it's going to write a pitch that is very different from what you're going to get with something like ChatGPT. Okay, because what it's doing is it goes through those 5 episodes that it found. It will find things that match who you are based on what it knows about you from your brand profile and your survey answers. It's going to match that to who you are and your expertise. Okay. And it's going to write the pitch in a way that a human would, one of us would, right? It writes it very thoughtfully. So it basically talks about, it doesn't just pitch, it talks about what you've been listening to, right? So I've been listening to this. What did I love about it? What resonated with me? Why did it resonate with me? What was so important about the message that you're sharing in that episode? And why, again, how my story fits in with that. Like, why did it resonate with me so much? What do I do now? Right? And a few conversation angles that are basically, it's identifying gaps that I would be able to fill with my expertise. So, these are some of the gaps that maybe I could help fill and provide value to your audience. And then of course, I'm happy to chat more if this feels like a good fit for your audience. So you see, at no point is this saying like, hey, can I be interviewed on your podcast? Like, it's not about me at all. It's just value driven from start to finish. Okay, so anytime you are pitching to any of these hosts, you want to make sure that they feel like you've done your homework, you've actually listened to their podcast, you've drawn value from it, and you've been thoughtful about what you can actually add, what value you can add to the podcast and to their audience versus just making it about you. Okay? And this is a little secret ninja trick that I'm super excited to share with you guys. Podcast hosts struggle to get reviews. Okay? You'll actually see a lot of podcasts where if you click on them, the first thing that pops up is, hey, can you leave me a review? They're always trying to find new ways to get reviews. So in parallel to you sending them a pitch, can you imagine how much stronger your pitch is if you add a review to their podcast and pitch to them? Okay, it's already doing all the work. Now it's also written a podcast review for me. Okay, so I don't know if do I still have the Spotify thing open? I don't think so. Do I? Oh, here. So let's see if I can find where to. I think I have to log in first. Can't remember my login, so I may not be able to do this right this second, but let's see. Okay, no. How do I get back there? Okay, so if you aren't stuck with login stuff, I can't stand it when I forget my passwords. You'll probably need to log in. Hopefully you guys can log in. Okay, and let's see. We are going to be, I was talking to Kunal about adding a link right from here so you know exactly where to put it in. But for now, if you can just copy and paste it into wherever they take, yeah, I think this might need me to go into my app. I've got the Spotify app on my phone. Let me know if you guys are stuck too with the review thing, but basically, as long as you're logged in, you should see a place to leave a review.
Hey, Ruhina, I have one quick question. When you generate this, if you don't want to send this, if you X out of this, will it save this email?
Yeah, it saves it.
Okay.
Well, why aren't you sending it? Because the whole goal is to send it. We don't want you to get stuck in making this perfect.
Rohini, are
Because
we,
because we're not sure if some of what this is said is relevant to this particular episode.
Oh, so you want to listen to the episode first before you send it?
Well, yeah, it looks like there's some things that aren't aligning, so we need
Okay.
to look at it or do another one, I guess.
Okay. You can also regenerate it if you want to try that. You can rewrite the pitch, and it
Okay.
should be writing it based on all the data that it's already found from those last 5 episodes. If you're not seeing that, then go ahead and send us a message and we'll take a look at it.
Okay, I'll try rewriting it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're
Is
very
it
welcome.
going through the audio transcript from like the previous episode? Because it pulled like a lot of, I mean, what looks like valuable information from this podcast I'm looking at. It down to like quoted details. So is it using transcripts to
Yeah.
review that? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing.
Okay.
Raheen, question, it's Teresa.
Yeah.
So are we sending from the send email at the bottom right, and then we're just copying the review? Is that what you had said?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys are logged in, again, I'm gonna try this on my phone. I don't know if, oh, my phone's over there. If you guys are logged in, you should be able to find the place to leave the review. So just copy and paste that in. Actually, in the interest of time, I'm going to circle back and do this on my phone after this session. But yeah, if you guys are logged in, do this here. If you're not logged in, if you're stuck like me, just make sure you do this later, but you can send the pitch out first and then you can leave a review after that. Okay? When you click on send email, I don't have any email host on this computer that I'm using right now, but it should open up either your Apple Mail or whatever mail you've got connected to your settings, to your Mail to settings and your computer settings. Or you can just copy it and put it in your whatever, your Gmail or work email inbox or whatever, and just send it out that way.
Another quick, just very small question. I see that most all these at the end, it just puts your first name. Is
Yep.
that what you want to do? You don't want to use your last name?
You can if you want to. I usually just put my first name because they're already getting an email from my full name. So I keep it personal. I just put my first name, but it's a personal preference thing. You can add your last name in if you wanted to.
Right. Okay.
And I think that also varies with the industry that you're in. So in the marketing world, everyone's very casual, very personal. So I just keep it that way. But depending on what industry you're in and who you're reaching out to, you may think that it's more appropriate to add your last name in.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
not sure. I'm not sure it went, Raheen. I can't see it in my sent, or is that not where we see it?
So we don't have email connected to Brandpod yet. Are you talking about your inbox, like your actual email provider?
So I did it from Brandpod, so I shouldn't have, eh? I should have copied it and put it in my
Yeah,
email.
so if you what it's gonna do, and I can't show you that because this computer that I'm on right now, when I'm on my laptop on my MacBook, it opens up my Mac Mail, my Apple Mail.
Okay.
But if you don't have an email provider connected in your settings, it's
Okay.
not gonna know where to take that mail to too. So yes,
Okay.
then just open up your work email, your professional email, and just send it from there. Just copy and
Okay.
paste it in.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Ruheen, excuse me, before you go here, in terms of finding a place to leave a review, what do you do when you can't find a place to leave a review?
Save it for now. If you can't find a place to review, then you can't find a place to review. That's just how it is. But if you're logged in, you should see it.
Logged in to Brandify, it should show it there?
To Spotify or iTunes,
Ah.
depending on where you're looking at the podcast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I'm stuck because I can't find my login. I'm logged in on my phone, but not on this computer. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna actually send it through my phone. But in the interest of time, I'm just not doing it live with you guys. If you guys are logged in, please copy and paste that review and you can edit it, but please do post it. I'm telling you, it really, really increases your chances of getting a response because podcast hosts really appreciate that. Okay. I want to show you really quick where you can find these opportunities. So we're going to do like 5 of them here, but You can find those opportunities here in your personal CRM. So I'm just going to switch over to that really quick. If you click on that in the side menu here and you go to opportunities, you'll see everything that you're adding in here to this. As soon as you have sent your pitch, you can, right? It's gonna, once I say send pitch, it's gonna show me this. Once I send it, I can drag and drop it into the next stage. For those of you that are used to all the automated workflows, that's all coming by the end of March. It's coming by or mid-March, but by the end of the quarter, you're going to be able to send these emails, track replies, automate, tracking them through the different stages of your pipeline, all by the end of next month. But for now, you just copy and paste it into your email host. And I'm going to actually do this one with you. If you've already sent your first one, go do your second one. Let's try and get through as many of these as we can. Okay, because I'm talking, I'm going slower. So I'm not going to be able to send out as many pitches on the call, but I'm going to be doing this with you. When you guys come next week, we're going to look at these pitches and I'm going to have 5 sent out too. And I hope you're going to have your 5 sent out too, because that's what's going to keep us moving. Okay. So let me log into my email here. I'm just doing this on the side, guys. Don't want to flash you with my inbox. Yeah, the send email thing is not gonna. By the way, if you're looking for the email, it's in the opportunity as well. But if you click on that send email, it'll actually show you who you're emailing it to. This is what, if you have, like if you're on a MacBook and it opens up your Apple Mail, it'll show you it'll put the address and everything in there. So I'm gonna copy and paste this in here. It gives you the subject line and everything. You don't have to get too perfect with it, but please do read the email before you send it out. Make any edits you need to, but just make sure that you're reading the email. I've never seen Brandpod create something that's like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? I would never send that, but it's still AI. And so I definitely want you guys to just read everything before you send it and before you post a review. Just a little example that I want to give you because I'm editing this on the side. Because I keep it on a first name basis, I'm also cutting out the last names from here because this sounds really awkward to me. That's a personal preference thing. Also, just to make it sound conversational and not like AI just wrote this, I normally wouldn't put the entire podcast name. Now, AI doesn't know that, so it's taking the entire name. I'm shortening this to just brand you. Like I'm not. So I'm just saying I've been listening to Brandy. They're gonna know what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's their podcast.
I just wanted to call out Raheen while we're all like got our heads down working. It's Kiri for those of you who haven't met me yet. I am loving the ability to add a podcast in. Like I feel like it's so cool. Like the tech is so cool that it's like when it's pulling up podcasts that I might not have even considered for myself that are like on brand or are aligned with me. Like that was already super fascinating. And yet I also really appreciate being able to search for. I know that came up with our first group and in the intensive. but to then go ahead and just be able to search it, add it into the opportunities, like it is just so clever. And I'm so grateful. This is my first time, like, and having been involved for a very long time here, but just pulling that into the workflow is it's really intuitive. It feels like it's like you guys have actioned like a key piece of feedback. And anyway, I'm just blown away. I wanted to call it out while we all have our heads down and we're quiet. So I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that you're welcome. I'm sure that there's a bunch of people here kind of silently working because they know that you're serious about us getting 5 out and you are going to hold us to it. But I also know that there's probably a lot of people who are like, man, this is smart. So I just wanted to be one of the voices to say it out loud because it really is like, I'm quiet, but quietly blown away. So
I appreciate that. And by the way, I also thank you, Kiri, for saying that, because when I first started my personal branding journey, the way I did it was I spent a lot of time, like not just hours or days, but weeks researching the podcasts I needed to be on, which ones were going to be like intentional for me, reaching out to hosts. And eventually, of course, once you start getting on them, other hosts like start reaching out to you. So that kind of just compounded there. But what you're doing, it might look really easy, like you're doing it in 5 minutes or 90 minutes. But yeah, this is replacing weeks and weeks of work and trying to figure out which podcast to reach out to or how to reach out or where's the contact info. And nobody talks about the whole like adding a review thing. That's a sneaky little way to get popularity points with them. Like it's really, really good. And in fact, it's something that I've done before. And I was actually talking to a friend who's a speaker all over the world right now. And I was asking her how she has success with getting on these podcasts. And she reminded me of this trick. And I was like, oh, we need to have this in Brandpod. So anyway, so that's why we added it in. So this wasn't there in the first cohort. Like I said, every cohort, every time we do this, there's going to be new things, new strategies, new things that you can start implementing right away.
yeah, I think that that's a really important thing. And again, for those of you who don't know, I'm often going to mirror back to Ruheen, like, hey, by the way, you're so in it with this tech that you forget how unbelievably fascinating and how unbelievably amazing this tech is because she's in it, right? So these iterations are happening. It's like when you look at your kid grow up and like, you're like, okay, they grew another centimeter, but I didn't really notice. I look at them every day. And someone else is like, man, look at how tall they are. Like this tech is just continuing to evolve and iterate based on our feedback. So again, now that you all know me, you'll know that I don't hesitate to speak up and I'm a squeaky wheel and hopefully in a good way, but really like this tech is unbelievable and I'm just grateful to be part of it. So thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Kunal's like, you're welcome.
I didn't say your name, Dark Lord, but you're doing good things, sir.
Appreciate that, Kiri. Yeah, and for those of you that haven't met Nathan and Kiri yet, they're our brand ambassadors. So once we get through this like lift of sending out your first couple or first 5 pitches right now, we'll give you a chance to meet them as well. So if you ever have questions down the road, they're great resources to connect with and reach out to. All right, so I just sent that pitch. So what I'm going to do now is, again, this is all going to be automated by the end of next month, but a little drag and drop is not going to hopefully hurt anyone here. But we're going to say pitch sent. We're just going to drag and drop it into the next part of the pipeline. Okay. Once you do that, it's going to ask you, when did you send the pitch? So it's automatically got today's date. Perfect. Yep. Sent. And you can add any notes in here. So you can always, like, if you have any thoughts or whatever, you can add that in here for your own tracking purposes. I haven't posted the review yet, so I'm just going to say, add myself a note here so that I do this. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do that. And now it's under pitch sent. Okay. As we work through these next 7 weeks, we're going to track who we've gotten responses from, what responses we've gotten, what responses we haven't gotten. When it's time to follow up, how do you follow up? What's the best, most tactful way of following up without like driving someone nuts, right? And we're going to do all of that and we're going to track it through this whole pipeline. Okay, then they're either going to land in our booking or booked stages, or we're going to put them away. And again, I'm going to explain all of this to you. The nurture is for 3 to 6 months later. We can always re-engage them and re-nurture them at that point. Okay, that's what the nurture stage is for. And if they're like, if they say something rude back, which I haven't had happen so far, but there are crazy people out there. So if somebody says something rude or you find that you're just not a good fit, you can always put them in lost. Or once you've been featured, you can put them in completed and then you can track that over here. Okay, so that's how the whole pipeline thing works in here. So go ahead, for those of you that have already sent your first one, hopefully you've already sent your second one by now too. If you're working on it, totally fine, not trying to rush you. But keep going. Don't wait for me to catch up. Sonia, did you have a question?
I do. I had to go in and change my email a little bit because I know the person, so I don't know where I can find the reviews. I'm sorry, I lost that piece.
Oh, is it not showing up if you do that? This one I would need to rewrite, but yeah, if you just click on that, this is an old one, by the way, that's why I'm rewriting it just to show you, but it should appear right under the email.
Okay.
Let me know if you're not seeing it still.
So, so I need to go to the saved pitches.
Yeah, or just, go into your opportunities, your personal CRM, go into the opportunities, click on send pitch. It'll open up the pitch that it's already written for you. If it's never written a pitch, it'll write it
Yes.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Okay, cool.
Do you see it at the
I
bottom?
see it. Pitch, source details, pitch email. Yeah, I just see source details underneath the email.
Source details, okay. Kunal, do you want to do a quick breakout with Sonia?
What's happening?
She can't find her review. She's not seeing it under the email after clicking out of it.
Me either.
Oh, is everyone having the same problem?
Once I sent it, it disappeared.
It should be under opportunity.
Yeah,
So
the review though,
yeah,
specifically
scroll
the
down,
review.
further down where the content is. You see the pitch email. So click on show full email. Scroll down.
Oh, this is what they're saying. They're saying this is what you guys are seeing. You're seeing the source details, but not the review.
Correct.
Weird.
Do you wanna look into that really quick?
That just means I didn't get.
Yeah, it's the same on my end too.
Okay, so everyone's saying it, so we don't need a breakout room for this. Kunal's gonna look into it. We'll get it back for you. Okay. While you're waiting on that, just move on to the next one. Okay, just gonna give you guys a few more minutes because I know we're coming up on time. So I want you to get through as many as you can, even if it's just one, no pressure. The idea is to get you comfortable with the process of pitching because once you send your first one, the other ones are really fast because now you know what you're doing.
If there is no email available, do you recommend utilizing a contact form on their website?
Yeah, if there's no email, if the AI hasn't found an email, then yes. So the
I would
AI will
also-
only find whatever contact information they have on their website, and usually it's event hosts that don't put their emails and they want you to go through their application form. Podcasts, 9 out of 10 have their emails there. But yeah, if there's a host that just doesn't want to be contacted by email, then they'll have an application form or contact form.
As a secondary to that, excuse me, I would also try to find their LinkedIn. And then there's a lot of strategies you can do on that end if you're really serious about trying to get on that podcast.
That's a good idea too.
Where are you suggesting to add the review? Like Google or?
Wherever, no, not Google. So if you click on it, it should take you to either Spotify or iTunes, their listing. And as
Okay.
long as you're logged in, it'll show you a reviews thing. I'm going to be logged into my Spotify next week, guys. Sorry. I just don't want to spend the rest of this session trying to figure out my password for it. But hopefully you guys are seeing it. And if anyone is logged in and not seeing it, then let me know and we can look at your screen together. All right, I'm getting ready to send my second one, and then we're going to do some content and some Q&A before we wrap up today's session. Any questions, guys? Are you hopefully you're not just watching me edit my email and you're actually being able to send out your own.
Log in and see. I want you to go to content history and
For
see
the review?
Yeah, for the review and see if it shows up there. Just copy this before you.
Okay. That's a weird runaway word over there. Okay.
Hey, Kunal.
What's up, Dominic?
Yeah, there is, when you go to send mail, if it's not set up in a default on a Mac, do you have a guide on how to do that?
Just copy and paste it into your email provider.
Mhm.
Scroll down to see. Go to content history.
Oh, is it in content history?
Go to content history. I want to make sure that it's saved over there. Podcast pitch. So that's what's happening. It didn't save the.
Didn't save it here?
It didn't save. Yeah, it didn't save it. That's what's happening. So somehow the saving the review is broken. Let me see why
Okay.
it's happening.
Sorry, guys. Looks like the review thing is the saving of the review is broken, is what Kunal's telling me. So he's fixing that right now. But in case we run out of time, which is likely, looking at the time right now, to get that review, just regenerate the pitch. Even if you don't use the new pitch, it'll regenerate your review as well. So just grab it from there, and we'll get this fixed before the end of the day. So that's actually saving your reviews too. All right. You guys have one more minute to finish up whichever stage you're in right now. All right, guys, just save whatever you're doing so you don't lose anything if you're in the middle of editing a pitch or editing a review. Just save it, and then you can finish it up right after we wrap up with this session. Okay, because I do want you, any questions? You guys feel more confident about finding and sourcing these podcasts, doing the research, sending out these pitches, leaving them reviews? Yes?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ruheen,
Mm-hmm.
quick questions. I feel that the only thing I'm still a little fuzzy about, like you said, while Kunal was working on fixing that issue with the
review.
reviews
Yeah.
to regenerate. So just
Yeah.
understanding if I already have the email that I like and it regenerates the new email,
Mhm.
what happens to the previous one? So just understanding how the save feature works is where I'm a
Yeah,
little fuzzy.
it'll
And override.
it'll overwrite it, but if you really like what you've written, you can just copy and paste it back in. Again, we'll fix this in the next couple of hours for you guys. So,
Okay,
but
so
just
I'll
for
just
right
save it
now,
offline first and then
do
okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
One more thing to keep in mind when you regenerate, because it goes through the
You want to come here so that they can hear you?
One more thing to keep in mind when you regenerate, if you need to regenerate for the same thing, is that if you're using an email from a previous generation and you're just regenerating it for the review, make sure that you read the review properly, because there are 5 episodes. Sometimes what it'll do is the next time you regenerate, it generates an email and a review for a completely different episode. And then you want to make sure that your review is for the same episode that you're
Not necessarily at all. No,
but
not a requirement.
wouldn't it feel more
Yeah.
AI generated if
No.
something's different?
No, because it just shows that you. Sorry. So this is an offshoot of a conversation that Kunal and I were having yesterday, where Kunal was like, "Should we design it so that the review is actually for the same episode that is mentioned in the email?" And I said, it's nice to do it that way because then it just looks like you listened to that episode, it really resonated with you, and so you were so inspired to both pitch to them and email about that episode to them, and also leave a review for the same one. But they just want reviews, right? And so as long as it's a thoughtful review, it doesn't matter if it's for a different episode. It just looks like you listened to 2 episodes, they both spoke to you, you left a review for one, and you emailed them about the other. So yeah, don't worry about that at all. Again, if that is something that you really wanted to match, which again, I wouldn't get hung up on that at all. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to move on since we only have 20 minutes left. We're going to move on to your bulk content creator. A lot of you have seen how the regular content workflow works. It's something that I covered in Cancun last week. We've covered it on our intensives. We've covered it at the last cohort. So you guys I think all are familiar with the content workflow. But what's new and what you're going to do right now is something that you've probably never done before because we just released it last night. Okay, so when you come into your content agent here, okay, the one that I went through in Cancun last week and all the other cohorts is this, actually this. So single select create, right? You pick a topic and then it takes you into a workflow, and then you're creating content, 1 blog post, 1 email newsletter, a few Facebook posts, few whatever, depending on whatever you select here, right? It's going to create a few social media posts, 1 email newsletter if you select that, and 1 blog post for you at a time. Also, you have to be sitting here and you have to wait for it to complete, because if you X out of it in the middle, or as unfortunately Sonia learned the hard way, if you lose power, it was disappearing. Now we've got save as you go, so it's not going to disappear, but you will have to come back in here and do it before you have the content to post. Okay. What I'm going to show you right now is going to take a few hours. You're going to create, if you want like hundreds of pieces of content in one go, it's going to keep processing in the background, and then it'll let you know in your account when it's done. Okay. In order for this to work, quick reminder that you'll want to go into your settings, go into integrations, and make sure that you have the right Google Drive connected. Don't be like me. I do this every time, and I did this in Haley's session in Cancun last week. I connected the wrong Google Drive because I have so many accounts, and then I couldn't find anything that I was actually saving to it because I was looking at the wrong Google Drive after that. So don't be like me. Just look at which Google Drive here is connected, and you'll know where to look for the content once it's generated. Okay? So I'm going to go back into my content agent. Oops, that's not where I wanted to click. There we go. you're not going to do the single select create. What you're going to do, and I know some of you are on the light plan, you won't be able to do this on the light plan. This is only on the pro plan. So on the light plan, I would still do that so that you can create content based on your AEO search terms, okay? If you're on the pro plan, you can click on Power Bulk Create, and then you can select multiple topics. So in the single select, you're just selecting one topic at a time. If you're on the pro plan, if you're on the light plan and you want to upgrade to this, you can do that as well, and it'll immediately show. Or if you're doing the program with us, you already have access to the pro account, okay? What you can do is pick out multiple topics. So I was testing this in the morning. So I already created content for these 3 topics, okay? And it's gonna show me that so that I'm not creating duplicate content. So let's say I want to select a few more. You can select up to 30, okay? If you wanted to, you can select up to 30 topics, and it'll show you how many you've selected here. Okay, so let's say I'm not going to do 30, but you could. And it'll multiply the topics with the content types that you want to create, and it'll create all of that in one go. Okay? So let's say I want to do, all of these topics are very relevant to my own story. So I'm going to select all of these. Just reading them before I do that. And of course I can expand this and select some more. So go ahead and go through all the search terms, and you can come back again. Let's say you only want to select 5 right now. You want to come back and do 30 later, 30 more later, you can do that as well. Okay. You can run multiple batches in parallel. You're not like waiting for that to finish before you can set up another batch. Teresa, did you have a question?
Yeah, so the 2 columns, are they both the same thing, and what's in the first column? Like,
so they're a little bit different. These are, it's just categorizing it for you. So these are actual search terms. Actually, I should have shown you this first because this is usually where I select my topics from. This is going to be your actual audience's search terms. Okay. I don't want to have something like Reddit in there. These are the trending. So this is search behavior from if you're on a pro account from this week. If you're on a light account, depending on when your agents ran, it's this month. Okay, they're both still current. These are trends. So these are topics that have come up more than once. Okay, so it's usually good to do a combination of all of these, but I always start with the search terms first. Okay, and then these are also recurring themes, but they're not, it's AI taking a lot of different search terms and putting them together in its own version of, well, this seems to be a recurring theme for your audience. Okay, but so the actual search terms are here. Sorry.
Are we picking our topics like up to 30 from all 3 columns, or just the far one? Okay.
You can do whatever you like. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, we may not have time to, like, if you're reading each one, we may not have time to select 30, but just select however many you'd like to right now, and you can run a second batch as well. I don't want to do 2022. So you'll see a lot of the search terms actually don't make a lot of sense because they're literally search terms, right? Your audience is like typing this in, and so it's just grabbing that data. But just know that when it creates the content for you, it's going to take the meaning of it and then generate actual correct English. It's not going to actually take that phrase exactly as is. Ooh, I like this one. What is the ROI of thought leadership? Okay, so again, I could go deeper into each of these different categories, but in the interest of time, I'm going to go with the ones that I've selected. I've selected 8 topics. Okay, and when I scroll down at the bottom right, there's a button that says write for me. Okay, when you click on that, you see this window pop up. It's going to show me all of my selected topics here. And now it's going to ask me which formats do I want to create. So let's say I want to create a blog for each of those topics, right? I'm not going to do an email newsletter right now, but I do want to do Facebook and I do want to do LinkedIn. And a lot of times I will cross post between Facebook and LinkedIn since those are where I'm most active. But it uses different psychology. in Brandpod for Facebook and LinkedIn. So I usually like to create content for both, and then I decide which ones I want to cross post. If you want to keep it simple, you can just select one or whichever ones that you want to create content for. You'll be able to select your brand voice here. Again, I'm going to keep it to my default, but if you have multiple brand voices, you'll be able to select them from here. Or again, after the session, you can go into brand voices under your brand profile and just give it more context so it can learn how you like to write. Save that, and then it'll show up in these drop downs anywhere in your content agent. Okay, it's showing me total how many items there are to generate. So it's going to generate 24 pieces for me. But again, if you are, and by the way, when it says pieces, it's counting Facebook posts as one post, but the agent is actually going to try and create between 2 and 10 of whatever you select. So it's multiplied. Okay, it's just doing basic math here, which is always a lower number than what it's actually going to generate. Okay, and it's telling me it can take up to 6 hours just because this is not your typical LLM generate the content and it's going to do it in real time. Because this is bulk content and because this gives you the power to actually set off hundreds of pieces of content off at a time, it's actually getting queued up. So it's getting queued up with different LLMs, and then only if it times out on one LLM will it go to the next one, but it makes sure that it creates all of your content and then comes back to you a few hours later. It's going to automatically put it in that Google Drive that you have connected to your account. Sonia, did you have a question about this, or should I go ahead and click on
Yeah, real
generate?
quick, on the latter comments post, you get like 5, right? So do you recommend using those every single day? Just one each day?
Like a ladder post?
Yes.
I wouldn't do it if you're only like, I don't post usually more than one post a day. I know a lot of people are like trying to post 10 times a day. If you're posting multiple times a day, you can mix it up and you can have a ladder post every day. Personally, I'm finding ladder posts have gone down in engagement.
Okay.
I was posting them a lot and I was getting a lot of engagement, and then I just started to see a dip, and I was like, maybe it's just me. So I started looking at some influencers with larger accounts who are still, I see them still testing out these ladder posts, and I'm seeing their engagement go down as well.
Okay. Thank you. And I think Joanne had a question.
Yeah, Joanne?
No,
Good to
I
see
just
you. We
I
wrote
put
a
it in the
chat together
chat.
to the
I just
airport.
don't see 3 columns. I only see 2. It's no big deal. I already went ahead and generated some things. I'll refresh the screen and see if it comes up, but I just don't have this search column.
So the next time your agents run, you might see 3. It just depends on what your agents have found on this current run. You're going to see different things. Yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this off. Hopefully you guys are following along with me. And because I'm talking, I'm doing less work than you guys are, but hopefully you are generating a lot more than just 24 pieces of content. Okay, once you set that off, it'll tell you that it's going to take 4 to 6 hours. You can look at the tracker. Okay, it's also here under content. It might be condensed in your menu view, and under bulk content history. Just remember that the bulk content is going to be saved in its own tab. It's not going to be under the regular content history, which is where your content from your regular content workflow. I keep saying regular because that's what I've demoed before, so hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. That goes in here, but your bulk content is going to be in its own tab. You can always come in here and see which ones are done, which ones are, this is still, it says pending because it's still waiting to be picked up by an LLM. Okay. And let's say if I click on this, if I click on it, it'll give me some more details of the job that I've sent to process. If it fails, it does sometimes fail. It'll give you the option of trying to resend, so you don't have to go, if it fails, you don't have to go over like all of your search terms again and try and find them all over again. It'll give you a retry button so you can just resend it. Sometimes LLMs just fail to pick up the job. But that doesn't happen. I mean, Maha, you've been testing it a lot more than I have. How often does that happen? I think it just happened a couple of times to you, right? With all that testing?
Yep.
It usually works just fine. But yeah, just so in case you see a failed job, just know that you'll see a retry button next to it. Let me know when you guys have set your jobs off. Awesome.
Where did you see that? Where did you get this screen, Roheen?
Oh, so I came into my bulk content history.
Yeah.
It shows my 2 jobs because I have not been testing this as much as Maha has.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll see your jobs here, and when you click on it, you click on any of them, it'll pull up this like detail
Oh, okay. When you click on it.
pop-up
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
When that's done, Ruheen, will it automatically load it into the Google Drive that's set in the settings?
Yes, that's exactly where it'll be. Yeah, it'll automatically load it in there, and then you'll also see it in your notifications here. Okay, I also ooh,
Bulk content complete.
right here.
Do we have the capability to integrate to go high levels, social planner?
Not with Brandpod. That's our other product. Hey Levi does that does business branding. This one does not. Our CTO here is a little bit scarred with all the bugs that we had to face with GHL's API. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if their API stabilizes and we find that it's not failing as much as it was when we created the connection with Hey Levi, we will come back and do that. But one thing that is on our roadmap is connecting this specifically with your social channels. So those integrations are coming directly with LinkedIn, directly with Meta's channels. All of that is coming in. And I think we talked about WordPress, but everyone uses GHL blogs here, I think.
We'll have a way to push it to WordPress for blogs.
Yeah.
For Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of that, you'd be able to connect your accounts and post directly from our platform versus requiring GHL for the.
Yeah. So hopefully you heard him over there in the corner, but yeah, we have all of those integrations coming directly with all of your social channels. You won't have to do it through GHL at all.
Okay.
That's likely a Q2 thing.
And
All
if
right,
we create that, oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just had a question about the asset building.
Mhm.
With the website, can we embed, is there an embed code we can get and put in Go High Level or?
Yeah, you can get the code from, if you go into code mode, you
Yeah.
can grab the code from there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I promised you one more thing that I was going to tell you. So to wrap this up into, how many of you actually sent at least one podcast pitch on this session? Awesome. Okay. Oh, you said 2. Look at you. Teresa. All right, I can't see you know what? Hold on. Give me a second. All right, cool. Okay. Hold up your fingers. I'm going to take a screenshot just so you know, but hold up your fingers and show me how many you sent. Yeah, Kunal's got 10. We'll take it. Awesome job, guys. Do you feel like you have a newfound superpower?
Yep. Totally. That was fun.
Awesome. I love that. And that's that was my goal for today for you guys. And that's why I was so disappointed in Cancun last week when we were trying to do this live and the Wi-Fi decided to not cooperate. Because honestly, when I got out of my own head and I just started putting myself out there, I cannot tell you the imposter syndrome that I used to have. And when I just got over myself and I got out there, I realized how much those initial pitches lead to connections and relationships. And you guys have all heard the phrase, right? Your network is your net worth. That is honestly one of the most valuable phrases when it comes to your personal brand, because you only build that network through your personal brand. Think about it, right? And when you get over yourself and you put yourself out there, you're not always going to say the right thing at the right time, and that's okay. We're all human. That's part of our journey, and the right people will support you through all the ups and downs. But the way to find those right people is to actually get yourself out there, start building those relationships. And the story that I wanted to share with you really quick is there was a speaker from Cancun, an amazing speaker, who shared this story with me, and I wanted to share with you because I thought it was so powerful. So they have their VA in their Brandpod account sending out every single week. Their VA sends out podcast pitches for them. Okay. They're not always aware of which podcasts have been pitched to, by the way. So they were telling me this over dinner last week, that they went to this really big conference, like over 1,000 people there. And they saw a podcast host there who apparently is a very popular figure, I've never heard of this gentleman, I'll be honest, but apparently they're really, really big in the marketing world. And this guy apparently charges $3,500 to get on his podcast. And he's very well known, very popular. Okay. So our friend goes up to him. He's already surrounded by all these people, and they walk up to him and they're like, hi, my name is so and so, big fan of your work. The guy looked at our friend here, our speaker friend here, and said, wait, I know you. Took out their phone, opened up their inbox, and showed them an email from them. And they're like, this is you, right? And they had no idea. They were like, well, that's my name. They realized what had happened because they know that their VA is sending out these things. They were like, oh, yes, that was me. And that led to an amazing, first conversation. So you see the power of that. Like, they're still working out, like getting on, making this podcast happen. But you see the power in just having those relationships. At the end of the day, you want to be visible so that you are remembered. The win of actually being on someone's podcast is the cherry on top, right? Even just being remembered because you sent a thoughtful email, right? And this person actually got a response from this guy who I'm sure gets a ton of pitches in his inbox, but just because they sent a thoughtful email, they got a reply, they got a conversation, and they were remembered, which is, I think, a huge win already. So just want to leave that with you guys because I hope you can feel the power of what you just did on this call. And whatever you do, I just want you to keep building momentum on that. That's my only ask of you guys today. Teresa, you have a question?
Yeah, I just find like, because this is on the personal side, and then I'm also trying to, I'm building this as well as building my business brands, which is more the tech and automation side. So I feel like I'm two separate people building two separate businesses. Am I spreading myself thin? How do you work around that kind of extra workload hurdle?
I'll be honest, most people who are in that situation, there's a lot of us in that situation. If you have a VA that can handle most of the business things, I would do that because the answer to that question is really they should both be built in parallel. Okay. A story that I don't share very often is last year we were offered 3.7 million to be bought out. Okay. And we were told that was the value of that acquisition that they were proposing was coming from the value of bringing Kunal and I onto their team. Okay. They wanted to just take the product. They wanted to take Hey Levi off the market. Basically, that was their intention. They weren't going to grow it. They were going to take it off the market, split it in pieces and have us come on. But the problem with that came down to they realized that Hey Levi has its own brand. And so they wanted us because of, my brand, Kunal doesn't really have a brand, but they wanted us. So there's value in the brands that we were building or the brand that I've built over the past year and a half, right? But they realized that this wasn't going to fly and there were going to be a lot of unhappy people because Hey Levi has its own brand as well. And we used Hey Levi to build its own brand. And I've been using a lot of, I didn't have Brandpod when I was doing all this in pieces and doing this all by myself. And so Brandpod has everything that I did for my own personal brand to start getting more visible. So the short answer to all of that is if you have to pick one, pick you. Pick yourself. Because your business brand is great, but if you really want to bring in warm leads to your business, people who already know they want to buy from you, they just need to know how or where to sign, that comes from your personal brand.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a tiny anecdote to add to that. And again, I know we're on time to go into the thing.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about that, Teresa, is that if you were to post a piece of content from your personal brand that is thought leadership that obviously applies to your area of expertise, that could then be shared from your business brand, right? Like your business brand can share information that you have shared as your personal brand, and it is tied because you are the tie, right? So it's just an opportunity then to, again, position yourself as the thought leader of your own business. And so it's not so much if you can think about it, it's not so much as duplicated effort, but more as you standing as the founder of what you're doing. It really then is just focusing on the highest impact activity, I suppose.
I find like they're two different audiences. However, I could, you know, I could see where my personal brand reaches out to, say, middle-aged women.
Yep.
And I also have like professionals on the other side, but
Yep.
some of those are women. So there could be
Sure.
a tie underlining, and, you know, animals is also the underlying theme.
Yep.
So there is some slight overlap, but it's just, I find it's a little challenging because I feel like I've got a slightly different messages to
Right.
both.
Which is
I
really
feel
cool,
like,
by the way, Teresa. I was telling Kanal about your story. Really, really cool. All right, we do have to shut this down only because we have our town hall that was supposed to have started 3 minutes ago, and we have other people joining that one as well. It's a different link. I just dropped the link in the chat. For any of you that have any other questions, by the way, please do come to that. We'll answer all of your questions there. We're going to be talking about some new feature releases, how you can start running your own agents. You don't need us to do that for you anymore. So lots of things that we're about to share over there as well. So the link is in the chat. We're going to start that up in the next 60 seconds here, and I will see you all there. Bye, guys.
bye.
Bye, everyone.